Cool. Well, welcome to our accelerated growth call this week. And, we really have been, diving into, excuse me, really the leadership side of things and continuing that leadership conversation, really diving into the leading, excuse me, just continuing down the path of my belief that you can't lead another human or coach another human until you can lead and coach yourself first. And so really wanted to unpack a few things from concept wise, maybe some fundamentals to help kind of get our head around. And we actually talked about this when we introduced the coaching certification side of things as a kind of a super soft launch that we only offered it to, those that attended Kitchen Table in March. And I know how important these things are, and talked with a client who's going through the success coaching side of things. And just, she's, long time MAPS coach, long time, all the within the KW ecosystem coaching. And she was just talking about, the basics, just like the real basics, and none of the things that they're teaching can really help somebody coach. And to me, it still comes back down to leadership. So I want to dive into, there's about 8 key points that I want to hit with everybody. And the other thing that I want to share with all of you, and we've been dealing with it, and it's typically in times of uncertainty, and people run, especially if they haven't been plugged in. I've seen quite a few people making exits, making moves, and not saying that everybody makes a move or makes an exit because of this, because it's also the other way around. They don't feel plugged in. They don't feel heard. They don't feel like they're being supported. And yeah, I get that. Yet you also have to do your part and plug in as well. I remember in the beginning when Jay and Albie were working with Coach Burt, and how is it? How's it going? And he's like, it's not what I thought it was going to be. However, I haven't plugged in. I haven't engaged. And so that goes back to that extreme ownership, that 100-0. And, are you plugging in? Are you taking advantage of all of the calls, all of the opportunities? And I'm not saying that to get on every one of them, because you guys wouldn't be able to function if you were on all the training calls. However, there are key points to where you can plug into to know to go get what you need to get. And so we've got, the Facebook community. You have our team as resources, right? Z, if you haven't communicated with Z, that's just because you're ignoring her. And so I know she's, she reaches out to everybody almost on a daily basis. And so, we have our Tuesday calls that Jay and I do, that are great little resources to plug into. We have obviously this growth call that we do every week at 4:30 Central. We also have our Q&A call, which have been really incredible conversations. And, those are at 6:00 Central every Thursday. So that'll be tomorrow. And then we have our monthly mastermind, which happens to be this week. It's this Friday at 2 p.m. Central. And those are great. They're rapid fire sessions. We go for an hour, whoever's on. What's your main challenge? And then we just dive right in to unpack it. So I just can't stress enough to you guys to plug in, engage. How much content we put out. So the podcast, there's a podcast episode daily. There's YouTube content. So the resources are there. We also have the resource area. If you haven't gone through CHSA or CHBA, it's there, right? To be able to dive back into, and really, it's the whole, what's the problem you're trying to solve, and then where do you need to go, and be resourceful to find the answer, to find the solution. And that's why we added the Q&A call every week, because these are more me coming at you guys, throwing content, challenging the way you're thinking, hitting on a specific topic. Yet I know all of you have a bunch of questions and a bunch of challenges. So that's where the Q&A call, we wanted to create space to where you can get in there, and then the monthly mastermind to be able to dive a little bit deeper. So, like I said, I know there's a lot of things out there, yet just take advantage, right? I was thinking about that today, is like, damn, I do a bunch of calls, but it's like, I wouldn't have it any other way. That's all I know to do, is to just pour into you guys. And I'll be honest, I work best through Q&A, just because of such a unique perspective of, the two different brokerages, 11 years in the one-on-one coaching side of things. There's just not a situation that haven't been a part of or seen, licensed, in January of 2005. So riding through that market in Lawton, Oklahoma, to where you either had a key relationship to survive, or you played short sales and REO, and we did all of the above. So it's just some interesting times. There were some key points to hit on. And, this, like I said, this month's been really around leadership and, leading yourself at a higher level, because now you're able to model that behavior for those around you. And so really looking at that, we're protecting it. We've talked about, really like what Coach Burt calls igniting the prey drive. I talk, through what it really, my takeaways from the power of full engagement. And then how do you understand, those four key buckets, and then utilizing some type of discipline, like Hal Elrod's The Savers, to be able to implement those things in your life for us to be at our best, to perform at our best. And, even the shit that I'm going through, like, I even get off, traveling a lot lately, kind of getting out of that day to day of doing those things. And I caught myself even yesterday slipping down the rabbit hole, and I was like, okay, where am I off? I'm off in my gratitude practice. I haven't been to the gym. As soon as I get done here, I'm at the gym, right? Back in the sauna, breaking a sweat, going to lift. Got back into my mindfulness practice. I listened to about 30 minutes of mindfulness stuff today. And so, like, it's okay. We're all going to get off. But what are you doing to get back on and really, not beat yourself up that you got off? And just understand, we're all going to have tough days, and it's not a linear path. As much as we want to try to stay on a straight line as much as we can, going from an A to B, going from where we're at to the big vision to the destination, we all going to get off. It's not a linear path. Some days are going to be better than others, but what helps us are those savers, are the things on the physical, the mental, the emotional, checking in. Are we living in alignment to our values? Are we out of alignment? And, I just really want you guys to be able to understand that, because if you can model that behavior, then you can pour into those that are looking up to you for your leadership and your guidance. So with that said, I do want to kind of get into some fundamentals that, for those of you that, especially, we've had the opportunity to work together in a deeper one-on-one, I share all of these things at any given time, but I really think these 8 things are really the cornerstone of coaching, cornerstone of leadership, and not beating ourselves up so bad, and helping understand in our thinking and in our patience at a deep level. And number one is that we have to remember people can figure things out. People are creative and resourceful. What I believe happens is that we allow them to be dependent upon us. And this is even true for our kiddos. And more important for, our team, and even a reminder for ourselves, is that we can figure things out. We are resourceful. And talking to an organization this morning, and my question was, do your people know where their resource center is? See, for those of you that are at EXP, your number one resource center for EXP is Workspace, because do is go in there, go into search and type whatever you're looking for, and thousands of comments and direction and where things to go. It's not easy to log into the world. In fact, I mean, I'll be honest, the only time I go into the world is when I'm doing a training. So you have to know and understand that we are a resilient bunch, and we have a capacity to learn. We just have to be resourceful and not be dependent upon anyone. And we don't want people to be dependent upon us. I always say that there's nothing in this business that can't wait 2 hours. And by the time that you typically follow back up with them, the problem's already been resolved. They've already figured it out. And that's where it really helps to go. So creating those boundaries for you, creating that space. And so just remember, people can figure things out. And for us as leaders, is that we also have to remember sometimes people aren't even problem aware. And awareness is key, because it's not possible for us to make the best choice when we're not even aware of the problems, right? It's what we reveal we can heal. And that's all we're trying to do, is we're just trying to reveal our blind spots. We're trying to reveal, help others reveal the blind spots that they have, and really just help identify where those constraints are, and understand that people are resourceful, and they can overcome any constraint, and they can, help people, move through any of the areas of happiness in their life, in their health, in their wealth, and their relationships. So just remember that not only are you capable, just remember everybody's capable. They just don't know that sometimes that they have a problem, and how can we help shine some awareness around it and help them, be able to make better choices. The second thing is that it's always layers deeper. It's always layers deeper. And it comes back down to even, what my coach always says is that typically what happens is that we get caught up in the smoke. So like most of the things that come at us is just smoke. We got to get down to the fire. And so when we see something going on, we just don't understand what it is, and how we can get down to the real, root of the issue. And one of the great frameworks that I have defaulted back to, and we use this for so many situations, and it's from Byron Katie's framework of, is that the goal? Is that really the goal? Hey, is that the problem? Is that really the problem?